Welcome to the ThunderCast, your Marshall Athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week. So keep it right here. The ThunderCast is on the loose. Thanks for downloading another episode of the ThunderCast. You can follow us on Twitter at ThunderCast_pod and download the show anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast. And of course, if you're watching, you have already found the ThunderCast YouTube channel. If you're there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like and share the show so we can continue to grow the listener base. As you can see, it's not KD and Jed. It's not KD and Russ. It's KD and already one of the most accomplished athletes in herd softball history. Let's run through it real quick. In 26, Sydni Burko put together a season for the record book. She was named Sunbelt Conference Player of the Year, Sunbelt Conference Newcomer of the Year, earned All-American honors, and set Marshall's single-season home run record with 24, on top of ranking in the top 5 in a number of major offensive categories in the Sunbelt. But just as impressive as those numbers are, today's conversation isn't just about statistics. It's about coming home. It's about why a player grew up just down the road from Marshall and decided this was where she wanted to finish her career. It's about one of the greatest seasons in Marshall softball history, and it's about why the future of this program may be brighter than its present. Sydni Burko joins me today on this episode of the ThunderCast. Welcome to the show, Sid.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I can't wait. This has been one I've been looking forward to for a while. I'm glad you said, yeah, let's do it. Let's have a little fun. Before we get into home runs and records and awards and everything that happened this season, I want to start with the decision that brought you here. You grew up like 20 minutes away, right? Cabell Midland High School. Coming here wasn't just a transfer. It was a homecoming, literally a homecoming. So what made you ultimately decide that Marshall's where I need to be? Marshall's where I want to be.
You know, I believe there's no place like home, truly. And, you know, I went away for a year and I tried it, but it's not for everybody, and it sure was not for me. And so I knew I just wanted to come home. I wanted to represent Marshall, and having that prior relationship and friendship with Coach Z, and her just believing in me at, several years after, first meeting her, and just giving me the opportunity to come back home. But I just knew like ahead of time that she was the type of person and type of coach that I would want to play for, as well as just representing my hometown. I talk about it all the time, but just like coming home and you see so many girls on the fence and so many girls at your games. And I really think that's what means the most. Just having like the community and the support in Huntington, but the girls on the fence that you can, kind of pour into and be that role model and example for them. There's so many reasons I came home, but those are just a few of them that kind of stick out the most.
Well, you mentioned the girls on the fence, and I remember you posting the photo. You were a girl on the fence,
Absolutely.
And you were a girl on the fence watching your head coach play.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I even tweeted like there's girls leaning on the fence that are watching you that want to be the next 18 or something like that. And that's got to be a very, very strong pull, It's a very unique pull. I mean, there's lots of local athletes that play in various sports at Marshall. I'm not sure that any of them have the type of connection the way the softball team does with the little girls and the high schoolers and middle schoolers that play softball. I think that's uniquely herd softball in Huntington.
Right.
That's a huge draw. That's got to be a big pull on your heart, right?
It is. Yeah. It's those things that mean the most. Yeah. The wins and the accolades are nice, but knowing that you can pour into the next generation of ball players, I think that's the whole reason why we do it.
Yeah, see, man, we already got way too deep, and like we were supposed to have fun and talk about home runs and all, and now we're talking about like, being a role model. We're a few minutes in, man. I gotta get better at putting more fun into these, I guess. So when you entered the portal doing that thing, was there a specific moment where you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, yeah, this is, can you point to one moment and go, yeah, this is why I wanted to come to Marshall?
So I entered the portal and I honestly went in with the mindset that it's Marshall or nothing for me.
Oh.
I wanted to be home and I was like, if I can play softball at Marshall, that would be such a blessing and, a dream come true. But if I can't, then you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to be a student and I'm going to, go to the same school my mom went to and, live at home and, be around my family and friends. But yeah, coming home, getting that first phone call from Coach Z or me contacting her or whatever it is, scheduling that visit. And I just knew when I stepped on campus as like a recruit at the time, I guess, stepping on campus, but also going through my whole visit, I was full of emotion. I was so emotional because it was just, Coach Allie and Coach Z just welcomed me with open arms. Like I said, I've had that prior friendship and relationship with Coach Z since I was 7 or 8 years old. But when you're face to face with her, as she's now your new head coach, and you're playing at home. Like as soon as I put my uniform on for the first time in my visit, like I said, it's just full of emotion that this is where I was meant to be all along, and there's no place I'd rather be other than Marshall.
There's a lot of us that feel that way. It's like when you put I've never put a uniform on, but I wear a lot of Kelly green,
right.
And when you put the Kelly green on, it just kind of pops for you in a different way. And you're like, yeah, this is it. Like I feel sharp just throwing on a ragged t-shirt. You know what I mean? It's like Kelly green does something for you. But obviously this was a decision that worked out pretty well, right? Because what followed was one of the greatest offensive seasons in Herd softball history. So let's talk about that a little bit. You set Marshall's single season home run record with 24, but what's equally impressive was that it wasn't just about hitting home runs. I mentioned this in the lead in, top 5 in the Sun Belt in 6 major categories. Number 1 in home runs, number 1 in OPS, number 1 in slugging percentage, number 3 in RBIs, 4 in hits, and 5 in batting average, all while not ranking in the top 10 in at-bats. So at what point during the season did you realize that this was becoming something pretty special, and what was working so well that you thought I could attain something nobody else has done before?
Mm-hmm. I think after the first couple weeks we spent in Florida in the preseason, playing against Florida State, Florida, all those big schools, we came to play and we all played well. And I think just having such a successful first couple weeks into season, and just seeing the way that your teammates have your back in the lineup, but also like it's fun. Marshall softball's fun, and so I knew like, okay, like once I got the feel of how Marshall softball works in the preseason and how games go, and like that was it. I knew early on that this was a special team and this was going to be a special year. So I mean, like I knew early on. Early on,
it felt like a record-breaking season. I mean, all right, I'll take that. I mean, that goes along with some star mentality you have to have. You have to approach the games thinking you're going to perform at a high level. And that leads right into mindset and preparation. When it's game week, which well, I won't say game week because you guys play midweeks and things, but let's talk about game prep. Mentally, what are you doing? Do you have any kind of ritual type things that you have to, like, I have to have these socks, or I have to wear, like, right shoe goes on first, like that kind of stuff? How do you prepare for a game, and how do you prepare for a big weekend series?
I am a firm believer in taking it day by day. You never know. You can be the star one game and then struggle the next. And so, like I said, I think just showing up each day. It's a new day. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. But I'm not really superstitious, but I do have a routine. And before the games, we do our herd lines, we do our ground balls, we do our reps, and we do our sprints and things like that. But something that's really big for me, and like the really thing I prioritize is being able to pray on the line with some teammates. That is where I find my peace. That is where I find my rest. It's like the calm before the storm. So just getting there on that line and being arm in arm with teammates and just just giving the glory to somebody who's so much bigger than yourself. But also, I just ask for that peace and that comfort. Guide my hands, guide my path, whatever it may be. Ease my heart, because I was joking about it in the Sunbelt tournament. I'm like, I have never played a game of softball like at ease or peace. Like I am so like anxious and ready to go. So it's not until I step in the line, pray with my teammates, and that's when all my nerves are gone. That's when I'm ready to go. That's when I think the most clearly, and also like then it's not a matter of result. That is just you can't control the outcome sometimes, but it's just enjoying the game and being grateful for the opportunity just to be there.
I tell you. Well, I mean, it's as much about finding peace and focus as it is about the reps and the work, because if you can't find the clarity in the time you need to put the reps and the work to work, I think you're just working to work,
Right.
So when you look back at the season as a whole, what is it that you're most proud of? Is it the awards? Is it the records, the numbers, the wins, or is it something completely else?
I'm most proud of just being able to set a new standard of regionals with this team and this program. And that was something I was talking to Coach Z with. Like, yeah, it's a goal, like, and we accomplished that, getting to regionals. Now the next step is making that the new standard, like every year. That should be the goal. That should be the standard. And making it to a super regional and then an NCAA tournament, like things like that. But truthfully, I think the most important thing from this year was genuinely just having fun. And like people tell me all the time that like watching Marshall softball is just fun, and like that's what we're here to do. Like I show up with 20 of my best friends, and we go out there and we act like little kids playing the game that we love, and like that's what I'm going to carry with me the most when I'm done playing. It's just the joy that I had that came with it.
That's what I think about too. It's like, because it is fun. Watching you guys is fun. You're cutting up in the dugout, and it's like team full of pranksters and things. But when you lock in, you lock in. So let's not steer everybody the wrong way. When the team's locked in, they're locked in. But you're you're just cutting up and having fun. And like you said, it's like being little kids. And I think that's what takes the pressure off. Mm-hmm. But this team, you mentioned the team, 20 of your best friends. The one thing that stands out is how connected that the entire team seemed, right? It wasn't just talent. It wasn't just a talented team. It looked like a group that genuinely enjoyed being around each other all the time and playing with and for each other each and every game. So what is it? Can you put a finger on what made this team special? And what do you want those Herd fans to know about teammates like Ava and Bella and Jules and Diamond, Chandler? Like, I feel like I'm on a first name basis, right? I don't know any of them, but I feel like I'm on a first name basis because we as fans, so many of us, we just want to be part of the team because you're having so much fun. We feel like, hey, we want to have fun too. Right. So what do Herd fans need to know about those teammates of yours?
What you see on the field is what you get all the time. All the time. The energy Ava gives on the field, she's like that in the dugout. She is like that in the locker room. She is like that when you go to, walk across the street to Smoothie King with her. Like she's always the same. They are each and every one of them. Like I cannot explain enough, like just how grateful I am for each girl and the friend that they have been to me, but also the teammate. But like I said, what you see is what you get. Diamond dancing, walk cross home plate all the time. So fun. Like they really are just like what you see is what you get. They are the most fun people to be around. They're so consistent. Nothing is a front. It's just genuine. It's just genuine. And then when you get us all together, I mean, like I said, Ava, her energy, it's contagious. I can't be around Ava in a bad mood because she is just so fun and so energetic, so lighthearted. But I mean, I think like even the girls you maybe don't see on the field who, their role's a little different and they're in the dugout, but even then, like I saw a video on Twitter of, some of the girls behind Coach Z during an interview, like juggling or on, little, like the little bison mask. Like that's a big thing now, but they are truly like that all the time. And they are so fun. They are just such fun people.
See, this is This is what we repeatedly keep telling fans each and every week. Get out to softball games. Go to it's the most free fun you can have in Huntington. I mean, there's a whole tailgate vibe out in that outfield.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can have a great time at a softball game. And it
Mhm.
won't cost you a dime to get in. And you can post up there with your camping chairs, and you can put your chairs in the truck bed and get a little elevated view. Like, it's a lot of fun. This is why more Herd fans, it should be standing room only at every game,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned, because you guys are fun to watch. You win a lot, and you win convincingly. And there are so many different, unique personalities that it's really hard to have a favorite player. You can't limit yourself to one favorite player on this team. But fans see the games, they see the highlights, they see even the celebrations, like you're talking about, the dancing across home plate. But what is it about Marshall softball? What is it about this team that fans have absolutely no idea about?
Oh, that's a hard one. I want to go to the coaches. I want to talk about the coaches.
Okay.
So I think something that I think the fans should know about Marshall softball is it starts with our coaching staff. And like they are our leaders, but they are just as equally as fun. Like they are fun and they set the tone for all of us. And like they're also different in their own way, but it's like we all just flow together. And I think they like kind of going back, like they lead us. And Coach Z, like great woman, terrific. All of our coaches are great people. Coach Allie might be one of the funniest people I've ever met. Funniest people I've ever met. But you have that just like that personal relationship with them. So it's like when you step off off the softball field, they're people. Like they're not robots. Like you can go and you can have a conversation about whatever with them. And I know Coach Allie brings her little boy all the time, and me and him are like this. We're a little bestie. It's such a family atmosphere, and they allow that. You know what I'm saying? So I make jokes all the time. Like I'm like, Coach Allie's boy has 21 big sisters. Like that's just how it is. We are such a family, and I think you can see that on the field. But like I said, it's really genuine off the field also.
Yeah, I don't think that's by accident, since you have two coaches that are also Herd softball alums, and they keep the very best of what they love about Marshall softball thriving with the most recent iteration of Marshall softball. That's not surprising to hear, but in terms of how I think of player coach relationships, it doesn't seem like you're saying, it doesn't seem out of place.
Mhm.
But it's like I can't. Maybe I'm too old. I don't understand to like turn it off, and then once you're off the field, you're all just people,
Mhm.
and you're kind of tight on a personal level, not just coach player relationship level. Because I didn't have coaches like that.
Right.
Growing up, I didn't have that. They were all business all the time, and it didn't matter if you saw them at school or away from school on the field. It didn't matter. Like they were coach, you were player. That was it. So
Right.
that's really cool. That's a really cool like wrinkle to the I don't know, the lexicon of athletics in this day and age. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I got another maybe not so hard one for you. Who's somebody on that roster that deserves far more recognition than they actually get?
Ooh, that was a hard one. I mean, I think Paige Simpson might be the best shortstop I've ever seen. Like truly, truly. Like her glove and her plays. I think it was JMU, and she started that game off with a diving play. I'm like, that should be on ESPN top 10. Like, it's so good. Oh man, like I mean, every girl in our lineup is good. They all good. They are all deserve recognition. Ava Blake, you see all the things that come out about her, and it's so warranted. She's awesome. Bella's awesome. Diamond in center field, stud. She's so good. Again, I've never seen a better outfielder than Diamond. Like she covers so much ground, and like I am so excited to see all that she does in these next couple years, and I'm so glad that I get to be a part of it, and like just be there with them.
Yeah, I
They
can
all
dig it. I can dig. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk about Coach Zerkle a little bit more, because it's more than just player coach with you guys, particularly you guys. You share a lot more similarities, right? And I think most fans probably know, but there are some just softball fans in general that might find this episode and go, "Hey, I've recognized Sid Burko. Let's see what Sid's got to say," right? But you guys share a high school, you guys share hometown, right? So what a unique thing. I don't even know how to categorize. I don't even know how to describe that. What a unique thing. You share a hometown, you share a high school alma mater. Now you're sharing a collegiate alma mater. Both of you are All-Americans with Herd softball. You both wear the number 18. You've spoken about how wonderful of a woman she is. Like, we all know that Zerk still plays at a very, very, very high level. But what's it like playing for her? You know, what is that? I hope you understand what I mean when I say, like, what's it like playing for a coach that you know can still do it with the best of them?
Right. I think we just all, like, as a group, all collectively, we just have that respect for her off the field, because like I said, she is a great woman, but on the field also, because we all know she's so good. Like, we all know, we see the posts, like, coach leads this league in home, like, we know she's so good. But it's also, she is so humble. Like, she is so humble. When she is at practice, she's coach, not player. You know what I'm saying? Like, she leads our group so well. Like, we all know coach can still hang in with us, like at least, like, you know. But it's funny, like, I love, like, walking into the facility, and you know, they're hitting or whatever they're doing, and like they're getting their work in, or when we're practicing, like, all the coaches, or when we're working out in the weight room, sorry, like, all the coaches are in there getting their own workout in. And it's like, you see the work ethic that she has. And so it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not just, you know, somebody leading by words and by mouth, but she leads by example. She leads by example. And I think that's something that's so rare, is to have, like, a coach that still plays. But it's like, what she has to say is important and valuable. And not many people can say in the summer, they watch the coach play on TV, you know? But yeah, she's so smart, knows the game so well. But she's just always such a calming presence. It doesn't matter, like, winning, losing, whatever it is. I know, there's a game in regionals, and, you know, I was getting you know, antsy, hyped up in the moment. And I was talking to her, I was like, Coach Z, you know, and she was like, it's softball. It's softball. Just have fun. Like, so what, you know, like, when I'm pressing, when I'm beating myself up, she is always that calm and consistent, you know, like, it's softball, just play, you know? And I honestly think that's something that's rare to find too.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about before. I had a bunch of coaches that were do as I say, not as I do. They weren't going to join in workouts. They weren't doing that stuff. You know, it was like, you guys better get your work in. I'll be in the office if you need me.
Right.
And that's not what you're experiencing. You know, why do you think players want, like, not that they want to play for her, but like, you guys want to play for her? Why do you think it is that players that aren't on this roster want to play for her? You know what I'm saying? Like, potential newer players that come to the program. What is it about that draws those players to want to play for someone like her?
I mean, truthfully,
You were one of those players, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't believe social media is everything, but you've never seen a negative thing about Marshall softball on Instagram, on Twitter, from their players. Because I'm telling you, like, we all love playing for Marshall softball. Every single girl on the field. And like I said, I feel like everybody can see that, and it's so genuine. And so, like, when you get on Twitter and you see all the Marshall softball girls just complimenting, you know, the program, the coaching staff, the team culture, we talk about, you know, the history of Marshall and all those different things. I really do think, like, we make it more than just a softball program. We make it a family. We like want to have historic runs and stuff and things like that. And so I think just seeing the genuine love and appreciation that so many people, like, not even players, but not even coaches, like outside of softball, like the fans, and like you just see so much love for martial athletics, but like also especially like martial softball, and it's just the what we do off the field and the community and pouring into the younger generation with the little sis program and things like that. Like I genuinely think that is so special and just earns the respect of so many around here, and it's contagious. So I really think people see that and it's like, wow, like the martial softball girls love playing for martial softball. So like I would too. Like you don't want to go to a program where like you can tell like maybe the girls don't enjoy it, but I think we give martial softball a great rap and a great representation and name out there for people.
Yeah, I do. I think so. I think it's one of the top programs in herd athletics that do the most for the image of the department,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're right. I don't see anything negative about martial softball ever on social media. I mean, maybe from opposing fans that just got run ruled this
Right.
weekend or something like that, but it's usually by and large very, 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 very positive.
Mm-hmm.
But you've mentioned several times about the what's kind of building what you want to do, what this team wants to do. So let's talk about that, because man, it was a fun ride this year. I mean, it
Right.
was a really fun season to watch from a distance, but we get to turn sights into 27, and what that might look like a little bit. And
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the reasons that fans are so excited right now, even though this season just ended and we're already excited right now for next season, is because it doesn't feel like the end of anything. It feels really like the beginning of something. And a lot of programs are losing major pieces. I talked about that. As mid majors get gutted annually across athletic departments,
Mm-hmm.
not just softball or all sports. Mid majors get gutted, and herd softball is not falling victim to that this year. Marshall's bringing back an overwhelming majority of offensive production and a good chunk of its pitching production for 27. So there's going to be some roster spots that have to be filled, and that's not what we're going to talk about, even though those do feel like coveted places, like from the vibe that you talked about, like
Mm-hmm.
how this culture is around this program. It seems like a coveted roster spot. Like a good player should want one of those spots to help elevate this team to back to the NCAAs, to a super regional. But anyway, how excited is this team, you guys, about what's coming next?
Oh, I mean, we're all super excited. My favorite thing is, we have the Team 34 group chat already going. We've got some important stuff in there, but then we've also got, the funny pictures of Coach Drew and, the memes and things like that. So I think just going ahead and getting that, that culture established early, welcoming the newcomers and the freshmen, whoever they may be, just like kind of like the family environment and the family culture that we have like established already. I think getting them to see that's like, yeah, we have fun at Marshall softball, even the group chat, like it's fun. But yeah, I'm super excited. And you like obviously you didn't see anybody like leave. We're all like, and I think that's just a testament to, like I said, like Coach Z and the coaching staff, and just how loved we feel by Marshall and the community. Like nobody wants to leave Marshall.
Mhm.
So I think having those girls come in and them seeing that like this is fun, and we work hard. We have that new standard of regionals. Hopefully that's, like I said, the new standard, and kind of expected. And just having everybody buy into that, which it's not hard. It's not hard. We all have a common goal, and we all have the same drive and the same work ethic in mind. And I think that's just continuing from last year. Like I really think that's just the big thing. Like, I don't think there's anything we need to change. I think it's just continuing and let that flow into the 2027 season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about that on the show when we were recapping the NCAA run. It was a couple of pitches, a couple of bad luck pitches, that ended up being big time home runs for the opposition. And if that pitch goes a different way, maybe you're looking at a different game. So it's not like, it doesn't feel like this far away thing that's almost unattainable. It's a pitch here and a pitch there, and a more cleanly fielded ball here, and a one extra step there. And you guys were really, really close to doing some really, really super special stuff that no other team at Marshall's done before. So I would imagine there is good motivation to stick around. The grass is not always greener. We've seen that on our show from athletes all across the athletic department. They go and they think it's going to be better, and it's not necessarily better. And I think that there's always going to be opportunity for people. There's always opportunity. But man, it's really hard, I would think, to go, well, you got a really good thing going right now.
Right.
Do I want to gamble that to maybe not have as much fun, maybe a short-term gain, but a long-term loss, like that kind of thing? I'm telling you, it does feel like the beginning of something super special. And I guess, does it feel like you have unfinished business? Is that the feeling?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we made it to regionals, and like I said, like making that the new standard of Marshall softball. So it's not just appearing in it, but dominating in it. And so yeah, like I think playing against the best, like Arizona and Duke, and like we played great against Arizona. We played great. We played our level of ball, and I think that's also that confidence of like, we were meant to be here, and we weren't here by accident, and we can compete with the best and hold our own. Like you said, like a couple pitches didn't go our way, but I think that also leaves, like kind of like bad taste in your mouth in a sense of, it's like, yeah, it was only, a couple things here and there. But it's also that motivation of like, yeah, we can compete with the best of them, and we do belong there. And so like I said, make this the new standard. And I think you've seen us play some great level of ball, and yeah, like we're meant to be there. We're meant to be there.
Well, I felt in the moment, why not us, right? Why not?
Exactly. And that was the vibe in the whole dugout. The whole, we had so many people there in Kelly Green, who made the trip to Durham. And like, again, going back, like the community at Marshall, like that's something special. But I mean, I think everybody in there was kind of like, why not us, and especially during the Arizona game, we held our own and we played great. So
yeah, well, I mean, how many times do you hit 4 home runs and only get 5 runs out of it? You know what I'm saying? Like that's not, you've played enough ball to know that that's not normal. Right. You would usually get 4 out of the park and end up with 7 or 8 runs, you would think. So that tells me like it was just a little bad luck, it's like you still made the swings, you made the plays, you hit the balls out. We were just lacking on a base runner here and there. I mean, come on, man. We can nitpick all day, but Marshall deserved to be there. That's not even a question. The fact that we didn't make a deep run into the SBC tournament, still got an at-large bid, when 2 or 3 years ago, we watched this team go to the SBC championship game, lose 1-0, and not get an at-large bid. We watched that happen, and we thought, this team's really good. And they kept, the main data point they went to, RPI, their RPI was too low. You guys had a tremendously good RPI.
Yep.
And that's what kind of did it. You showed this team showed that they could face some adversity coming down the stretch. You did. You faced some adversity coming down the stretch and didn't have a super, super strong showing in the tourney and still got into the NCAA tournament because the body of work was that daggone good. That's the difference. And when I talked to Morgan in the preseason about what this team might look like, and I talked about her scheduling philosophy, and she spoke directly to that. And we had no idea. I didn't know, how would I know that it was going to come out that way and you would get in at large bid? But that was very much on purpose. It was like designed by her to play that season that way. That's why this is special. Right? It's different. It's a different vibe. You're winning against better teams, and the SBC is a great conference. So you're not taking RPI hits week in and week out in the conference league.
Right.
What makes you believe that this team can be better than they were this year? What makes you really believe that they're going to be better next year?
Mhm. I honestly think we're coming in with a new level of confidence. Kind of that, like, we've been to regionals, we have that, that experience under our belt. And I think we also are almost more aware of what, like, the importance of each game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about RPI and strength of schedule and things like that. And, I think we all kind of went into the Sun Belt Conference tournament a little anxious, like anxious to
Sure.
perform well. Um, and so when you're sitting there in the hotel for a couple more days after losing that first round, and you're sitting there and you're like, well, we don't know if our season's done. We don't know if we're getting regionals, like things like that. And you're sitting there and you just have all these, moments from the rest, like the whole rest of the season, like going through your mind. And then it's like, oh no, you get another weekend, and it's just like that relief. And like we also all went into regionals with the mindset of we have nothing to lose. Truthfully, like we didn't, Um, so like, and we played well, we performed and we showed up. And so like I said, just carrying that confidence, that experience of like we've been here, we can hang with the best of them into a season, and having that from the start. You know what I'm saying? I think having that from the start uh, could mean something so much special and even bigger from last year, which is extremely, a high standard and something that's crazy to even think about. But, I think with this team and the leadership of Coach Z, and going back to like what fans like need to know about her, she's smart. Like she is so smart. And so, like you said, like the intentionality, like planning those hard schedules early on in the season, and like hanging in with the best of them, Florida State and Florida and all these different, like, different teams, Pitt midweek, things like that. Like she is so smart. And so having like her knowledge and the confidence of the returners coming in, and but also, like I said, mentioning the freshmen and the newcomers, like we have such a family like environment, and it's easy to get, new people bought in, because I knew like my first year I was all bought in. And like I said, just kind of taking them under their wing and like showing them the hard way. And I think the sky's the limit for this team.
Well, you kind of answered the last kind of question that I was kind of about to ask, but we have to talk about these things like that. This program, as a program, not just this team, this program has already won conference championships in the past. It's won NCAA tournament games. It's produced All-Americans. It's becoming, it's I think it's fair to say it's still becoming, because there are some historically very strong softball programs in the Sun Belt. So it's still becoming one of the premier softball programs in the conference. It's like fast tracking its way there, but it's still building. What is the ceiling for Marshall softball?
I don't think we've got one. I don't think we've got one. And I think too, like about being like a mid-major, you really like you have so much more to like shoot for. Like you can only go up. You know what I'm saying? Like
I do.
we can only go up. And I think knowing that, like the Sun Belt Conference too is so competitive. And I don't think, like, I think more people should know that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so competitive, and like and this is just such a growing sport, like the picture I just saw of the Women's College World Series with Texas and Tennessee, it's like, oh my gosh, like it's growing so fast, and it's like producing so much more opportunity. And so it's like we literally, the only place we can go is grow, and I love that. And I love being a part of a program like that. You know what I'm saying? We have so much more to accomplish and do, and so much more history to write. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Beautiful.
I mean, I'm with you. I obviously think we were pressing. We were trying our hardest. I won't say we were pressing, but we on the show were trying really, really hard not to be like, this team's going to win a championship, because it felt like you were. But I didn't want to put that evil out there. You know what I mean? I didn't want to put that out into the universe. But it really felt like it was like, man, they are freaking grooving. And so it feels like that's obviously an attainable goal. Obviously an attainable goal. It feels like this team could be even more littered with all SBC performers, even more so than we saw this year. So you make the NCAAs as an at-large. I think going into next season, you're going to get some of that mid-major hype, be a hyped team because you did it last year. So we're going to benefit. You're going to benefit from having done it the year before and returning so much of the production that they're going to go, this Marshall team's going to be really good. You wait and see. I know I've seen this song and dance before. It's just usually not sung about us, right? So going back to the NCAAs obviously is an attainable goal. And then it's about winning 2 games, right? It's about winning 2 games instead of 1 game or maybe 3 games. So while that sounds incremental, what a huge game to have to win, right? That's a huge game. They're not getting easier at that point. But is it attainable? Of course. Super regionals are attainable. I don't know where it stops. I mean, short of saying Marshall's going to go in and win a national title next year. That might be a little, but is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Nothing's impossible. I think this team's on the cusp of a multi-year NCAA run. Is what it feels like. That's really what it feels like. Sid, I don't know if you meant to, like, you caught fire there for a second, and I said I struck a chord, and we started talking about, like, the guard came down, and you got really passionate about what this team is capable of, and I that's going to come through to a lot of people as they're listening to that, because it seems very, very genuine. Like you believe, not like you believe. I know you believe it, but it'll make other people believe that this team can do some great stuff next year, and maybe the year after too, and maybe the year after. Who knows? Maybe as long as Morgan's here, which, by the way, big news today, right? I mean, we're going to date the episode. We're recording the day that news breaks. Morgan signs as an extension to be the head coach at Marshall through 2030. That's pretty cool. That's got Herd fans feeling pretty good. What do you say we have a little fun before we get out of here?
Sounds good.
All right. I'm going to hit you with a bunch of rapid fire questions. Don't think too hard. Just spit them out and let's see if we can have some fun. And we're going to go fast as we can because there's a bunch. I want to try to cover a bunch. Okay. We'll start with some teammate stuff. Who's your funniest teammate?
Evelyn Henson or Tia TT.
Who's the loudest teammate?
Rylan Miller.
Most competitive?
Oh gosh. I feel like we're all competitive. We're all competitive.
We'll have to settle this one on the diamond then.
Right.
Who's the best road trip roommate?
Evelyn is so fun. Evelyn is so fun.
Who's your current teammate most likely to become a coach?
Would it be bad to say myself? I would love to coach.
No, that's not bad.
I would love to coach.
I mean, just add that to the next thing of similarities with Morgan Zerkle. Teammate most likely to become famous.
Diamond Leslie.
That feels like that. Yeah, I thought I was going that way. All right, let's talk about some general Marshall stuff. What is your favorite Marshall tradition?
The fountain ceremonies.
Awesome. Favorite all-time Marshall athlete?
Morgan Zerkle.
Good. Don't you have to say that. Don't you? What's your favorite Marshall sporting event that you've attended, not as a player but as a fan?
Watching the women's basketball win their championship.
Oh,
that was crazy. That was amazing. The
WNIT championship game.
That was awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, that was a good one. What's your favorite place to eat in Huntington?
The market, buttered up.
Oh, okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So you mentioned Smoothie King earlier. What's your go-to order at Smoothie King?
Get the acai cocoa haze, the bowl.
What's your go-to post-game meal?
Chipotle or Qdoba, right across the street.
I'm pulling these out of thin air because I thought, and I skipped over this one, but my next one after the Smoothie King was, what's your favorite Chipotle order? But I didn't know that you would be a fan, so I went with post-game meal. But lo and behold, you're a Chipotleer as well.
There all the time.
Let's do music. What's on the gym playlist right now when you're working out?
I love a lot of good, like, dad rock, you know? We listen to that in the weight room all the time. Some Deftones and Alice in Chains, stuff like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's awesome.
Okay. Dad, I didn't know that was dad rock, but
Yeah,
all right.
that's what we all call it. When Coach Shirk's like, "Hey, what are we listening to?" Some dad rock, some
Man,
Deftones, things like that. We get
Allison,
country in there.
I would not have guessed Allison Chains was on the playlist for you guys.
Oh, yeah. When me and Ava Blake are in charge of the radio and the aux, and Tia, we all got the same music taste. It's great.
We'll talk after we're done. I think I can turn you on to a few more bands.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's in my wheelhouse right there. Let's see. One song guaranteed to get you locked in for a game.
Thunderstruck.
Who's your favorite all-time artist and or band?
I like Cody Johnson.
Oh, God, okay.
Johnson Little Country.
All right.
Oh, Linkin Park. Grew up on Linkin Park.
Okay. All right. Favorite all-time TV show?
I'm watching One Tree Hill right now, and it's been great.
Okay. I don't know anything about that. Favorite movie?
Oh goodness. I watch a lot of movies. I really like 8 Seconds.
Okay.
8 Seconds is a good one.
Okay. I didn't know you would be like rodeo type, but all right.
Oh yeah, all the time in the summer.
Okay. Are you Instagram or TikTok?
I like Instagram more. I spend more time on TikTok.
If you weren't playing softball, what would you be playing?
Basketball.
Okay.
I love basketball.
Couple more and then we'll get out of here. Who is always late?
Say Ryla Miller.
Conversely, who's always early?
Ava Blake.
All right. Who's got the best vibe on the team?
I think everybody's got a great vibe because it's all so different. Evelyn's hilarious. Ava is just 110% all the time. Diamond's like so cool. Like Diamond might be the coolest person I've ever met. Tia is just so funny and always has your back. Maddie is hilarious. Like they are all the senior class from last season. I'm telling you, the funniest people I've ever met. They are hilarious.
All right, last rapid fire question, and then we will look to get out of here. What is your single favorite thing about Herd fans?
How they show up. And it doesn't matter where it is or what time they show up. And it's just straight love. Because there's some places you go where it's like, ooh, you know, the environment's a little tense, all this. You show up to the dot and it's just fun.
Okay. I like to give our guests the final word whenever I do an interview. Mm-hmm. So I like to let you have an opportunity to close it out by saying whatever you might like to say to anyone, whoever might be listening, whatever you got on your mind that you'd like to get out there. Take a moment or two and get it out there, speak it into the world, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah. No, I just think, show up next year to the dot and come support us, and we have fun and we show up. And so, just be engaging and pour into us and the support. But also like we really appreciate everything that the fans, the people, the whatever support it may be, like we really do appreciate it. The players, we talk about all the time, just how special we feel and how there's no place like Huntington. So we want to thank everybody for that.
You hear the home run queen. Get out to the dot next year. Congratulations once again on a great season, historic season, both personally and as a team. Thank you oh so much for giving me a little time this evening and talking about Herd softball. It has been awesome.
Thank you for having me.
I am KD Hudnall. That is Sid Burko, and this is the ThunderCast. I'll see you guys on the next one. Go Herd.
Go Herd.